Don't act like it's only me. When your boss undermines you in front of your team, don't act like it's only me. But have you ever been in a meeting given direction and your boss steps in and corrects you in front of your team? It stings. It feels like the floor just got pulled out from underneath you. Because now it's not just about your ego, it's about your authority. The people that you're supposed to lead, they're suddenly questioning, does my manager really know what he's talking about? This episode is about that exact moment when your boss undermines you in front of your team. We're going to unpack why it happens and how it impacts your credibility, and most importantly, what you can do to lead through it without losing the room. Because let's be honest, it's not if it will happen, it's when. And the leaders who last, they aren't the ones who avoid it. They're the ones who know how to handle it. Chapter 1, the public undercut. Let me paint a picture. You're in front of your team explaining the rollout, you're prepped, you built the plan, you're given direction, and then your boss jumps in. Actually, we're not going to do it that way. Instant credibility hit. Everyone turns to them, your words, they get erased. I've lived this. Back in healthcare leadership, I had a director who constantly overrode me during team huddles. I'd explain the plan and they'd chime in with changes on the spot. Sometimes they wasn't even the right change. They just wanted to make it clear that they had the final voice. What happened? My team, they stopped looking at me for answers. They waited until the boss spoke up. I wasn't the leader in their eyes. I was the middleman. And here's the danger. Once your authority is questioned publicly, it takes deliberate work to rebuild it. Ignore it, and you'll spend months being treated like a messenger instead of a manager. Chapter 2, why bosses undermine. Now let's be real. Why does this happen? Sometimes it's insecurity. A boss feels like their position is threatened, so they reassert control in front of others. Sometimes it's poor communication. They didn't tell you that their expectations clearly, so your message, it didn't match theirs, then they correct you on the spot. And sometimes it's ego. They can't resist the spotlight. I had a peer whose VP constantly hijacked the meetings, not because the info was wrong, but because the VP wanted to look smart. And then over time, the team lost confidence in both of them. The VP looked insecure and the manager looked powerless. Here's the real. Undermining, it might come from above, but the fallout always lands on you, the one caught in the middle. So you got to manage both sides, protecting your credibility with your team while preserving the relationship with your boss. Chapter 3, leading through the moment. So what do you do in the moment when your boss cuts you down in front of your team? Rule number 1, don't get defensive. I know it burns, but snapping back, it would only confirm to your team that you and your boss, you're not aligned. Instead, acknowledge the input calmly. A simple, thanks for that clarification. We'll make sure to adjust it accordingly. It keeps you professional and composed. Rule number 2, reframe for the team. After the meeting, you can't just let the correction hang in the air. Pull your team aside and clarify the plan. Say, I know we had some changes mid-meeting. Here's the updated approach, and here's how we're going to move forward. That keeps you in the driver's seat. Rule number 3, have the tough conversation privately. Don't let a pattern of undermining slide. Schedule your time with your boss and address it, not in a combative way, but in a way that shows that you want alignment. When direction changes happen in front of my team, it makes it harder for me to lead them effectively. Can we align before those meetings so we're on the same page? I did this once with a leader who loved to chime in during my presentations, and after I addressed it, they started giving me feedback beforehand, and our meetings, they ran smoother. My credibility actually went up, and so did trust with my team. Because here's the message, you can't stop every public correction, but you can control how you respond, and that response determines whether you come out looking weaker or stronger. Chapter 4, rebuilding credibility. If your credibility takes a hit, the rebuild is all about consistency. Show your team you're still their point of contact, answer their questions, advocate for their needs, and deliver results. Over time, they'll see that one correction, even a pattern of corrections, doesn't define your leadership. And remember, your team is watching how you handle it. If you stay composed, they'll respect you more, even when the boss steps in. If you crumble or lash out, you'll lose both ways. One of the best leaders I ever worked under had a saying, don't lose the room. Even when she was corrected by her boss, she stayed poised, regrouped, and she kept moving. The team, they never doubted whether she was still in charge. That's the posture that you gotta carry. Calm, steady, professional. That's how credibility gets rebuilt. In closing, don't act like it's only me. Every leader had a boss undermine them in front of their team. It's frustrating, it's humiliating, but it's not the end of your authority unless you let it be. In those moments, your response is everything. Stay composed, clarify the path forward, have the tough conversation behind closed doors, and keep showing up consistently, delivering for your team until your credibility speaks louder than any correction ever could. If this resonated with you, drop a comment. Have you ever had a boss undermine you in front of your team? How did you handle it? And how did you wish you had handled it? Because the truth is, leadership isn't about never being tested. It's about how you rise when your authority is tested in front of everyone else. Until next time.